Welcome to 2-10 part 2. Now what happens in part 2 is we pretty much take what we learned in part 1 and apply it to real life situations. We're going to be talking about discounts and markups. So these problems will look more like story problems, but usually the process that we follow is going to be very similar to what you saw in part 1. So here we have the entrance fee at an amusement park is $35. People over the age of 65 receive a 20% discount. What is the amount of the discount, and how much do people over 65 pay? So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what is 20% of $35. So to do that, we take 35 times 0.2, and that's going to tell us what 20% of 35 is. Now I believe that that is 7. And that's actually going to answer the first question. What's the amount of the discount? Well, the amount of the discount is $7. Then the second question you see is, how much do people over 65 pay? Well, if it's originally 35 and they get a $7 discount, we just have to do 35 minus 7, which is $28. So that would be the answer to the second question. They pay $28. So it's very much like percent decrease problems from section 1. Now they'll also give you problems that look like this. Now these are a little bit different, but they actually are very similar to our percent change back in part 1. So we have a student paid $31.20 for art supplies that normally cost $52. Find the percent discount. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the big number, so that's 52, minus the little number, and we're going to divide it by the original number. This formula should sound familiar. Now what's the original number? Well, they paid $31.20 for art supplies that normally cost $52. So 52 is what the cost originally was. They got discounted to $31.20. So 52 is going to be what we divide by. So we do 52 minus 31.20, and that gives us $20.80. So that's how much of a discount the student got, and we're going to divide that by 52, and that gives us 0.4. And again, we have to change that into a percent. So the percent discount would have been 40%. Okay? So those look like percent change. Now let's look at two more here. This is one of each type. So a $220 bicycle was on sale for 60% off. Find the sale price. Now if you think that you're understanding this, press pause now and try these two on your own, and then check to see if you get them right. So a $220 bicycle was on sale for 60% off. So the first thing I need to do is figure out what is 60% of 220. So I'm going to take 220 times 0.6. And that's going to be $132. Find the sale price. Okay, so 132 was the discount, so I'm going to do 220 minus 132, and I get 88. So the bike was on sale for $88. It's a pretty good deal. Okay, here, next type, Ray paid $12 for a $15 t-shirt. What was the percent discount? So again, I'm going to do big minus little over the original price. The original price was $15. So that gives me 3 over 15. And then divide that, I get 0.2. So the percent discount was 20%. Okay? So those are the discount problems that you'll see, the two different types there. Now let's take a look at what we call markup problems. So a markup if you'll remember from our vocab words, is when a store buys something from a supplier at a certain price, and then they mark up the price when they sell it to us so that they make a profit. So we have the wholesale cost of a DVD is $7. That's how much they bought it from the supplier for. The markup is 85%. What's the amount of the markup? What is the selling price? So again, we have to figure out what's 85% of 7. So I take 7 times 0.85. That gives me $5.95. So that answers the first question, what is the amount of the markup? The amount of markup is $5.95. What's the selling price? Well, this one's a markup, so I have to add. That's what makes it different from the discount problems. So I'm going to do 7 plus $5.95, not $5.85. And that gives me $12.95. So the store bought it for $7. They're going to sell it to us for $12.95. Okay. Now we also have problems where we have to find the percent markup. And again, these are like where we have to find the percent discount. So the bike helmet cost $24. The wholesale cost was $15. So I'm going to take big minus little over, now I always have to do the original cost. So here it's going to be the smaller number because it started out at 15 and got marked up to 24. So 24 minus 15 is 9. So I have 9 divided by 15, which is 0.6. And then again I have to change it into a percentage. So it's a 60% markup. Okay. Let's look at a couple more. Now again, if you understood what I was doing before, go ahead and try to do these on your own. The video game has a 70% markup. The wholesale cost is $9. What's the selling price? Well, I need to figure out what's 70% of 9. I'm going to take 9 times 0.7. and I get 6.3 or $6.30. What is the selling price? Well, it's a markup, so I have to add 9 plus $6.30. So that's going to sell, that video game is going to sell for $15.30. Pretty cheap video game, I think. Alright, now here's one of the little bigger numbers. What is the percent markup on a car selling for $21,850 that had a wholesale cost of $9,500? So on these I have to do the big minus the little. And then over the original cost. Now remember, the original cost here is the wholesale cost, or the smaller number. So 21,850 minus 9,500 is 12,350 over 9,500. And when I divide those, I get 1.3, which again I have to turn into a percent, so that's going to be 130% markup. It's a pretty big markup. Okay? So those are the types of problems you're going to see on today's homework. See you guys tomorrow.